All right, welcome to Awesomeness Hour, guys. Obviously, you know me, you know Marissa. This is Lori, for those of you guys that haven't officially met her yet at the parties or whatnot, but it's Awesomeness Hour. Welcome, babe. Thanks for coming.
Thanks. I should have worn my Thrive.
We like to brand
shirt.
everything.
Yeah. I'm not on brand.
I'm a little disappointed with both of you.
Oh, boy. Oh.
With both of you. I'm the only ones repping the brand here. Everybody else seems to be doing their own thing.
Who's live with us?
Yeah, anybody on with the show?
We have Crystal and Veronica live with us. Veronica says, hi, Lori.
Hi, Veronica. I miss you. I miss your face.
Hold on a minute. She just said hi, Lori?
Yeah.
What's wrong with you people? Like, without me, there's no show. Like, I'm serious, my show. People come, they do this all the time. They always come on and say hi to the other person. They never say hi to me.
Maybe because you're so grouchy in the morning and you don't say hi to them.
I am not grouchy. I do say hi to them sometimes.
I'm curious, is he friendly in the morning at the studio?
I mean, who's going to answer that question? I mean,
your people are honest.
Well, we'll ask. Lori wants to know if I'm friendly in the morning at the studio. I don't even know what that means. So answer away. Marissa, you can answer first.
There's definitely a different you once you get your workout in. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I've admitted that though. Like I'm a different person after I get the training.
You're just quieter before pre-workout at any time. Yeah.
Well, I think at the studio too. Here's the deal. I'm thinking, because it's always like, you know, we have the roster of people that are coming in. I don't know who's going to not show up, who's going to be late. Like, and so I'm always trying to like figure out like who's going to be where and how we can figure it and blah, blah, blah. So I'm usually thinking, which is no excuse to not be overly jovial. So that's the new me. Once we come back, I'm so excited in the mornings. I'm going to be like, hello guys, what are you doing?
Oh my God.
He did say, I'll tell you, he had a confessional type moment the other night where he said, remember all those times I told you I don't like people? I take it back. I actually think I do like people.
And I've never said I don't like people. I mean, I might have used those words, but that's not what I meant. What I meant was like, I'm so introverted, like I don't have to be around a lot of people all the time. But what this has taught me is that I'm definitely an ambivert. So I think an ambivert's like in the middle, like half extrovert, half introvert. And I've realized that I get my like socialization through like being at the studio and connecting with these guys. And then just even, you know, when you and I get to go out on like Saturday nights or have people over to the house or do something like that. I mean, it's definitely bizarre. I've realized that I wasn't meant to live in isolation.
I think that you're going to get a softer, not physically, because I'll tell you what Jay's been doing in just a second, softer heart-wise when you go back. But yesterday I went out to get the mail and I'm like, oh my God, he goes 100 miles an hour up and down every street in our neighborhood with that silly weighted vest on. So that's what Jay's doing for the free time right now. Our neighbors probably think he's a Fruit Loop.
I'm pretty sure the authorities have been called a couple of times because of me in the weight vest.
Have you gone out in the weight vest in like the early morning where it's like dark out where you
No, I haven't done that. But so the reason that I stay in the neighborhood sometimes is like, I don't want to wear, I mean, I have my mask with me, whatever, but if I don't see anybody, then I don't, you know, pop it up and go to town. And when we walk from here to the studio, we walk like behind the school, like in between the school and the park. And there's all these like jokers back there. And when you're cruising around with a 30-pound weight vest on, your respirations get pretty heavy, and breathing your own hot air for like half an hour is not fun at all. So I like to stay in the neighborhood. So I go around, I make a lap, and I go up and down each cul-de-sac and I make the loop. People are like, what's this Fruit Loop do? Yesterday I did it like 3 times. They probably thought I was canvassing the place. What are you gonna do? Trying to get fit.
a little suspicious with the mouth?
Well, and it's a camouflage weight vest too, so they probably think it's like a flak jacket or a bulletproof vest or something. Who knows what people are thinking?
You look like a ranger. What is that? What's the word? Ranger something or other.
What do you mean, like a Texas
Ranger? Like a military ranger.
Oh, like a Green Beret? Yeah. Little
If
bit.
anyone has an extra beret that you wouldn't mind sanitizing, Jay would probably like to
I'll wear it.
right
Any questions for us yet? If not, we'll go into a little bit of chat.
now. Hi, Celeste is here. I see her. Holly.
Hey, Celeste. Hey,
Hi,
Holly.
guys. I have it on my phone below. Well, I'm here to, hi, Alyssa. She's here. Judgment-free zone. Oh, no, your neighbors are judging. We all do. It just feels less judgy in your neighborhood, right?
Well, no, Alyssa's walking in her backyard. She's wearing,
backyard.
she's wearing a path out in the backyard.
And her kids aren't teenagers yet, so they're not judging her.
No. No, they probably wonder why mom's walking in circles, but.
Hi, Taylor. I have the necklace on I got at your store. I never take it off, actually. Thanks for joining us.
Celeste is on. You got to say hi, Celeste?
I said hi, Celeste, but it's nice to see you. Well, I guess I can, except for your Instagram photo, but I don't know. Anybody want to ask me anything about Jay? I'm here to give the scoop.
Oh boy.
Nothing too serious. Alyssa did a 5K in the backyard today.
Dang.
What'd you say, Marissa?
The 5K in the backyard. That's a lot of circles.
I should have brought it because the crowd's so quiet. I should have brought my fortune teller cards to read yours. I almost FaceTimed you today to do it, but believe it or not, even though I'm not in the treatment room, I have been working 24/7. So I haven't had time to do a lot of tarot card readings. But I'm going to FaceTime you to do it.
Okay. How'd you find it?
How'd I find the tarot cards?
Like, what got you into it?
Oh, I don't know. I've been doing weird stuff like that since I was a kid. They're not really tarot cards. They're animal totem cards. So you pull it and it's whatever your animal totem is.
We got them in Maui. Did we get them in Maui?
Yeah, I got them in Maui. But they're fun to do, so.
There's this little town in Maui, so we always stay, and you've been to Maui, so we always stay like in Kapalua, but on the almost, I don't even know what, probably
up
like
in the mountains where Oprah lives.
Yeah, it's like an hour away. It's this little town called Makawa. It's like a little ranch country town. They still have like horse ties where you can tie a horse up or outside the saloon type thing. And they have these like weird little stores and whatnot. I think we got it up there at one of those little shops.
Celeste has a question for me.
Oh, good. What is it?
She wants to know where I grew up and what is my favorite thing to do to relax. Believe it or not, I grew up in the middle of nowhere, Vermont, middle of nowhere, like about as far away from California as you can be and still be in the United States. And it's funny because people that they ask me all the time, especially I lived in Los Angeles for a long time before moving out here. And all of my clients would say, how do you handle the heat? How do you handle the heat in the desert? Are you sure you want to live there full time? And I always say, I deserve the heat in the desert because I literally grew up in the frozen tundra where you cannot go out of your house for half the year. And I grew up in such a small town, you don't even know this, that my neighbors had a cow that they put outside their house and they would move it around. It was on a chain like a dog to mow their lawn. That's the kind of countryside I grew up in.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's eco-friendly.
Yeah, it was. People are probably gonna start doing that again, actually. So, and my favorite thing to do to relax is just to sit outside here by the pool and read a book, which I've given myself permission. It's the first time in several years that I'm not reading anything related to business. I normally read just business books, but I just finished Demi Moore's book and now I'm starting on Jessica Simpson. And if any of you like the Hollywood biography or autobiographies, both of them are pretty good. I'll let you borrow the Jessica Simpson one, Marissa. I saw your face when I mentioned it. I'm done, you can borrow it.
How is it? Good?
I just started that one. I mailed Demi Moore's out to my business manager who lives in Colorado today, but I will let you have that one. I've heard it's juicy.
Ooh,
so.
yay.
Yes.
The first time Lori took me to her hometown where she grew up, I mean, it was probably like 13 and a half years ago. It was me, Lori, and then Lori's sister, Debbie, and they weren't married at the time, were they?
I think they were just engaged.
Yeah, and her boyfriend, who ended up being her ex-husband, whatever.
Let's just cut to that.
So yeah, we're standing in the parking lot of this restaurant waiting for her parents to show up, waiting for her dad to show up. and he comes whipping in this like white, I think it was a Mustang or something like that, and literally hits Marty, the guy who was with us, like nicks him with the car.
On purpose.
On purpose. Like, yeah, I mean, he just nicked him, but no injuries or anything like that. But I'm like, oh, this is gonna be good. Like, we're in for a treat here.
Oh
Just
my.
glad it wasn't me. And then the same trip, we go, and her dad owned a car dealership. So we go to see her dad at the car dealership.
I know where he's going.
And we're out, I feel like my shirt's too small. We're out in the back, and we're talking to her dad, and Lori says something about, she's like, oh yeah, and then Jay did blah, 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 or Jay did this. Her dad literally looks at both of us and says, who's Jay? And I'm like, it's this fucking, we've been here for 3 days.
I will tell you.
We've been here for 3 days. What do you mean, who's Jay?
My dad has never been able to remember a name. My 2 best friends growing up were Tina Gagno and Tanya Burrell, and he calls them both Tanya Gagno. Like, he cannot remember anyone's name. So he's known them for 20, 30 years, and he still doesn't get their name right. So don't feel bad.
No, so needless to say, that was a great trip. We did a lot of, it's so much fun. At least I didn't get hit by a car, right? So you got to look at the bright side of things.
My dad should have had his own reality show long before Howard Stern came along. Yeah. He would have been
He's a funny kid. He looks kind of like Paul Newman. You know, the salad dressing guy?
Mm-hmm.
He looks like that.
Yeah.
Good shape. He lives in Florida part-time and then Vermont part-time. But in Florida, it's kind of like a Sun City where it's like 65 and older or whatever. And they have a softball team, and some of the guys are so old or out of shape or whatever that they can hit the ball, but they can't run. So her dad is in such good shape that he runs for everybody.
Oh my God.
So, he stands there and like they hit the ball, and then he runs the bases because they can't run. He wins like MVP every year of their tournament or whatever. He's still in great shape. How old is he?
He's 75. He also, there's a picture of him in the outfield. He stands on his head and puts the glove on his foot the whole time he's out there because nobody can ever hit it far enough, like all these retired old men. So he gets bored. So there's pictures of him standing on his head.
Well, I have a picture of him and Lori standing on their heads in the Aria Casino.
Debbie and I.
Yeah, all 3 of you.
But he was he held it the longest out of Debbie, all 3 of us.
So I'll tell a quick story just about, we took her dad to Vegas, it was like 2 Christmases ago. 2 Christmases ago, had you ever been there?
Yeah.
Oh, he'd been before, but it had been a long time. So he's wild. So they call us up and they're like, hey, we're across the street at like Bally's and there's some karaoke thing. We're like, oh, okay, cool. So we walk over there and everybody's doing karaoke and people are coming up to her dad taking photos.
Like he's famous. Like because he gets up there and sings and entertains and stands on his head. Like a whole family wanted to get their photo with him. I'm like, what's going on? Oh my God. It's the craziest shit. So he's a funny dude for sure.
He sounds awesome.
He's a character for sure.
We were napping actually, and he was partying at karaoke.
Yeah.
I think I have a picture of us all standing on our heads. I'm going to show everyone if I can find it in my phone. If not, entertain them while I look.
All right. You want to scroll? We got any questions over there for quick or no?
Just comments. Alyssa says, my dad lives in Pittsford, Vermont. So many rocks up there. People are laughing. Celeste says, Lori's dad sounds like a character.
Very much so a character.
Do you get to go back to Vermont very often, or do you?
Used to go back once or twice a year, but I actually haven't done that in a long time. But my mom moved from there to Virginia, and my dad is only there part-time in the summer, so I'm looking for that photo. I'll post it on Instagram. It's actually quite funny if I could find it. There's some of you getting facials in here of Marissa that I'm seeing.
It would have been not this year, but last year, 2 years ago.
December. Yeah, I don't know. I'll look for it and post it here if we find it. I expected more questions.
I know, nobody wants to know anything.
Do you ever miss living in Los Angeles or working in the airline industry? Right now, no. As a matter of fact, I think that as far as Los Angeles, no. I did my time there. And it got to be crazy. I left because the homeless problem was so bad. I don't miss living there at all. It's a hard way to live. I think you work 24/7 to pay your bills there, and you still don't live a lavish lifestyle by any means. And as far as the airlines, I miss my friends. That was my first real career job out of college. And I made awesome friends and partied my way back and forth across the United States. But people right now don't realize what their job is like. So I want to give a little bit of, I guess, a shout out and credit. Flight attendants are some of the bravest people that I know. September 11th, we all just show up and go back to work, even though they were telling us how to take our seat cushions off to avoid knives coming at us, because we were on some of the first flights that left the United States after all that craziness. But also right now, flight attendants are still out there working, and they just recently have been given masks. They have, she said, one of my friends, get to a hotel and you're lucky. If you're lucky, the hotel restaurant is open. If not, you may not eat for 20 hours because no restaurants are open anywhere around them. Around the hotels, they leave their house and they get reassigned so many times. They don't know how long they're going to be gone or when they're coming back. Their family doesn't want to be around them because they've been exposed to so many hot spots around the United States. So no, I do not miss being a flight attendant, especially right now. But I do have to say, they do not get the credit they deserve. They're some of the bravest people I know. They're delivering supplies and, gosh, all the stuff we order on Amazon now, a lot of it's coming on commercial carriers. And doctors and family members that need to go to funerals and all kinds of crazy stuff. And I do have several flight attendant friends that have been affected by the coronavirus. So not to go all dark here, but I think it's worth a mention that these people deserve some love. If you have to fly, they deserve the respect that I don't think they get.
I agree with that. And I have a question related to the flight attendant, if I can ask. I don't think I've ever asked you before. So am I supposed to ask for more warm nuts, or is it procedural for like the flight attendant to be like, oh, would you like some more warm nuts? I never know. Like, I don't want to overstep my boundaries and be like, there's only enough nuts for so many people, or am I allowed to go buck wild and just get as many nuts as I want?
Well, it depends what kind of flight attendant you get, because I was a killer first class flight attendant.
I believe
Superior service.
I believe that.
And then you have lazy people who just want to sit and read a magazine. So ask if you want. I feel like you're paying a lot to be up there.
Yeah. And then why do they, on the flight to Hawaii, why do they put those little candy pineapples in the nuts?
I never worked to Hawaii because
Nobody
it was
likes
considered international, and I agree, they're awful. It's actually like a caramelized pineapple, and it's disgusting.
You probably noticed I take mine out and put them into your tray.
Yes, I do, and I don't eat
then
them either.
I take the nuts from yours. And
He puts the gross caramelized pineapple in my nut bowl and eats all of my cashews. And he thinks because I've had one or two glasses of champagne, I'm not going to notice. But I do.
No, it's an even trade though.
It's not an even trade. I don't want those.
I take from mine, I give to yours, and then I just take some back. It's like, it's tradesies.
Now you guys see what I have to live with.
Makes sense. Makes sense. That was my question. I don't know. I just felt like it was.
What is it like living with Mr. Positivity?
Well, not always fun. I can tell you that. What would you answer?
I have to say, Jay is very positive, and I'll give him a shout out for you guys right now. He has handled this whole, your business is stripped from you. I'm going to turn off everybody's membership fees out of the generosity of my heart. Very generous, very strong through this whole entire coronavirus. And I hope that his followers and his peeps express massive gratitude, because just to turn off your entire source of income is scary. I don't know if you guys know that, but he cares deeply about you guys. And like I said, he has been completely positive and keeping me sane during this time. So times like this, it's lovely living with Jay. There are other times, like if he doesn't get to wear his vest and go 100 miles an hour for 3 hours around the neighborhood, he can be slightly irritable. But when you need Jay to toughen up and be strong, he's definitely there doing so.
I mean, living with somebody with like an OCD like I have is probably not always, it's not always the best thing. It's like Marissa said earlier. Somebody, or did you ask? Somebody asked if I was chipper or super happy in the mornings, and it's like with my OCD, sometimes I'm not until after I get my workout in, and then I can be more chipper.
This is Alyssa has a good question. Do you eat #Jay approved, and does Jay give you crap when you don't? Here's the funny thing. When we go out to dinner and we order, the person serving the food always comes back to our table with the food and puts Jay's meal in front of me, like a salad with no dressing, and puts my burger with French fries in front of Jay. And I'm always like, no, you have it wrong. So I do not always eat Jay approved. As a matter of fact, I just got 3 boxes of cookies in the mail, and he does roll his eyes. And it's a good thing I'm a strong woman, because I don't know if just anybody would be able to deal with ridicule every time they make a decision around food. But he does practice what he preaches, so he's not a hypocrite, that's for sure.
I wouldn't say every time. I mean, I do give an occasional eye roll.
A lot.
Well, okay.
And just so you know, living with Jay, I have cleaned up my act. My cookies that I ordered are gluten-free, non-GMO, healthier version, and I don't always have them in the house, but I do like to emotionally eat just a tiny bit right now. So I'm not always Jay approved, but he has definitely taught me how to clean up my act when it comes to eating.
It couldn't be. Listen, I'll remove myself from my body and look at it from her perspective. It can't be easy living with somebody who's, like I said, I mean, borderline psychotic. So, thanks, man.
Yeah, and I do hear this a lot, and you don't even know this. He will be like 3 rooms away, and I will open the pantry, and he'll go, babe, what are you eating? Across the house, constantly. I feel like I'm a hawk watching me every time I go for anything. I could be taking a vitamin that is there in our pantry.
It's in my DNA. I want to help. I'm a helper.
I won't tell you publicly. If you're in my facial, I'll tell you what I want to do when he does that.
I want to help. That's all it is.
Yeah. I'm looking. Does Jay cook non-Jay food for you? No, Jay does not cook non-Jay approved food. But we don't, I mean, if we cook a dinner together, like last night, we had a piece of steak and a salad. It's not like at home I pig out on stuff. It's just maybe when we go out to eat.
Yeah, when we cook dinners, I mean, when she says she doesn't eat Jay approved, she probably doesn't eat Jay approved like 20% of the time. And that's usually when we go out to a dinner or something like that. She loves like Italian food. So she loves pasta and like pizza and stuff like that, but we don't eat that stuff at home. And you never really asked me to make it at home. I mean, if she wanted it, I would make it. Like, I have no aversions. And I've even said that from day one of this program. Like, it would be insane of me to think or try to get her to eat like I eat. Like, that's not part of the deal. So yeah, but she eats Jay approved, I'd say 80% of the time, if not more. The only time she really deviates is when we go out to dinner somewhere. And then, you know, as we know, you should knock yourself out when you go somewhere you want to go anyway. So
I will tell you that I lived a very stressful life before moving here full time. I ran a business in Los Angeles. I had a second location here on El Paseo. I drove back and forth every week. I also was a speaker. I traveled all over the country speaking. And I have an online business academy. So I was working 24/7 and driving and trying to manage a very busy life. And I threw my hormones so out of whack that I wasn't sleeping. I was gaining weight. I felt crazy. And shifting my eating and really being rather committed to a keto lifestyle has made me feel normal again. My skin looks better. My hair looks better. I'm sleeping better. I feel better. The weight, the puffy where you feel like you could stick a pin in yourself and you'd go around the room like a balloon that had the air let out of it, that all went away. So I do try to stay pretty healthy and clean just because it makes me feel so much better. And I think, gosh, your adrenals, when they get messed up, eating healthy is the best way to course correct.
Yeah, I would agree with that 100%.
Alyssa does the same thing to her husband. What are you eating? Kirsten joined. Is that Kirsten Courtney?
That's Courtney. That's Courtney. I don't know who Kirsten is.
Hi, Kirsten Courtney.
Check on that Kirsten person and see if they're even supposed to be in the group. Okay. See who that is. For me, I don't recognize that name. I don't recognize that person.
10 people. Marissa, you stay at our house. We have nothing in our refrigerator. You know that.
Oh yeah, no.
She babysits Rudy when we go away.
We have water.
You have water.
Water, wine.
That's pretty much it. And some pickles. I am a pickle freak.
Water, wine, pickles, like a few condiments, like, but yeah, not much.
Lots of skincare.
Skincare in the fridge.
But
coffee, my cold coffee's in the fridge. That's about it. We don't stock a lot of fridgy items. Not really fridgy people.
Julie's here. Hi, Julie. Tana. Hi, Tana. Well, you guys, I was hoping we'd have more questions. Celeste, you were very curious, which I appreciate. I've been told my whole life I ask too many questions, so I like a good question.
Celeste's a good question.
I have some questions if I can ask.
Oh yeah, knock yourself out. I mean, be careful. You don't want to get fired publicly, but up to you. You want to roll the dice.
Okay. Well, there's a couple that I probably shouldn't ask. Did you always know you were going to be I know you were a flight attendant, but did you always know, like, even when you were a flight attendant, that you were going to potentially be an esthetician, or like, was that always in like the back of your mind?
No, actually, that's a good question. I flew September 10th, 2001 from LA to Boston working. And the next morning, of course, was September 11th. And I woke up that morning just in time to watch the second plane go into the World Trade Center. And as the day unfolded, I actually realized that half my crew from September 10th was on that plane, the first plane, Flight 11, that went into the World Trade Center. So the pilot I had flown with, 3 of my girlfriends, and then I got called in to talk to the FBI because they thought maybe one of the terrorists had been on my flight. And I remember just being so exhausted at the end of that day. And I heard a voice, and I know some of you believe in hearing something from a higher power, and some of you may think I'm crazy, but the voice said, and it was so loud, it felt like somebody was standing behind me. It said, okay, here's your perfect opportunity to do something that you love, because I hadn't wanted to be a flight attendant for a while anyway. So I go, oh, well, I love lotions and potions and beauty stuff. So that's kind of how I decided. I go, this is your opportunity to make a change. I was in my 30s at the time. So, you know, some people think that's too late in life to make a career change and be successful, but it all worked out. And that's how it came about. A divine message from above during a very stressful time. And I believe when it's something you really want to do and it's purpose driven, it just all works out perfectly. I'm late, so not sure what questions were asked from Julie. So what drew me to Jay? Oh my God. Well, you've told this story before, I think.
Not to a bunch of them, probably. I mean, maybe a few of them have heard some of it. So
if any of you guys know my little sister, she's much more extroverted and wild than I am. And she asked me to go on vacation with her. It was her birthday around this time of year. And she told me we were staying for the weekend, and then conned me into a whole week with like 6 girls in a hotel room. And then Jay and some of his friends ended up, my sister knew one of his friends, ended up coming on the vacation. And I liked Jay right away because he was funny and he was easy to talk to and seemed to be the most mature out of the group of people that we were there with.
Hey.
I thought he was handsome. And so now I lost. Oh, but I also remember saying to him, like day 3, I'm like, do you have a girlfriend? And he's like, why are you asking? And I'm like, well, because whoever ends up with you is going to have to be one strong woman. And he thought I was throwing my head into the ring. Is that what you call it?
No, I asked her. I remember like it was yesterday. I was in the pool floating around doing my thing. You were on the edge, and I asked her. I said, "Are you throwing your hat in the ring?" Like
I really wasn't at that point.
Trying to put a dog in the hunt, and she was.
But I thought it was funny, and I thought you were like, I mean, just as far as like people on the trip that I related to, Jay was the easiest for me to talk to.
funny story. So I'll tell my version of that. And so that's exactly how it went down. But then, I mean, I felt like the same way. Like I was drawn to Lori as, I mean, just from the beginning, like she was the one person that I had like an energetic connection with. And so very similar to now, what I do every morning, even on vacation, is it was me and it was like me and 4 or 5 other dudes or whatever. We were all in the same hotel room, whatever. And so I got up early and went to the gym, worked out. And while I'm working out, I was thinking about Lori, and I'm like, well, how could I see this chick this morning before we go down to the pool, before everybody gets there? Because, when there's like 12 people, everybody's, jockeying for like attention and shit like that. So I'm like, how can I just go find her and talk to her before? And so I'm like, well, everybody's drinking, we're dehydrated. So I finish my workout. I go to the little convenience store in Mexico. I buy all this water because I don't want to just get her water like a dick. So I buy water for all the girls in the room. I go to their room and I've got my water and I knock on the door. And I can't remember who answered the door. And I'm like, hey, I just, I brought you guys some water. I thought you might be thirsty this morning. And I'm like looking through the room and I can't see her. I'm like, where's Lori? They're like, oh, she's been gone for a while. And I'm like, what the fuck? I just wasted all this money on this water? Now I got to give these chicks.
You should have asked where I was. I would go every morning.
They didn't know. They're like, oh, we don't know. She's doing something. I'm like,
I would just get up and go sit by the pool because I couldn't handle being in a hotel room with 6 people.
So wasting my beer money on water with a bunch of chicks.
Tequila money.
Yeah, that I didn't even like.
He did bait switch me, if you guys want to know. That he acted like he was a dancing fool, like John Travolta the whole time we were in Mexico. And then we get back here and I can't get him out of the dance floor ever again.
It's something about Mexico. I get a little, what were we at? It was Sammy Hagar's place.
What is that place? Not Squid Row, but what's Sammy Hagar? It's one of his songs. Somebody will know it. They'll put it in
who's been to Cabo? Sammy Hagar has that big bar.
It's his tequila too, right? Like
Cabo Wabo. There it is. Yeah. Cabo Wabo. And I mean, I dance there. It just gets me. So that's how it all went down. So then fast forward, we hang out, kind of the trip, and at night we would always walk from the hotel downtown, which is stupid. We're lucky we didn't end up in a drug cartel somewhere. And I would always like try to walk with Lori, and we'd have conversations and talk and whatnot. And then I can't remember what happened. The last day, they left like a day or two before we did. And I think what I asked for your number, or you asked for my number or something. I can't remember. Pretty much you think you asked for my number.
we'll let you and everybody else think.
Yeah. So I asked for a number, and I don't even think she gave it to me.
I didn't have a pen. He waits till I was like, I remember I left and I was walking down the hotel hallway, like from here to his studio away, and he yells, hey, can I get your phone number? It's like, you were too shy to ask face to face.
I felt like it was like one of those like say anything, like one of those 80s movies where like, she's like, he's not going to ask me. She's like rolling her card away, and then I yell. She turns around. She's like, me? And I'm like, and I did like a heartsy thing. It was the way I remember it was super romantic. Her hair was like blowing a little bit in the wind. She had on like a white dress that was just flowing. I was shirtless, obviously. This is the memory I have of it anyway. But
I didn't give him my phone number, and I said, I don't have a pen. He goes, well, how am I supposed to call you? I said, I don't know. Find me on MySpace.
Found her on the old
MySpace.
We were already friends on MySpace. Or no?
I don't know.
I knew who you were. I found her on the old MySpace, and we've been together ever since. So love was born in Cabo.
So Alyssa wants to know, Jay said he doesn't want kids. Did you always feel the same way? I did. The weird thing is when I was a flight attendant, if you needed somebody to help with your stroller, hold your kid when you went to the bathroom, I love kids. I would always be the person to offer that. But when I met Jay, I was 36 years old, and that's not the time to think about family planning. So no, I never felt like it was something I was called to do, to be honest with you. And my age, it was important for me to be on the same page with somebody else, because if somebody really wanted kids, A, my age, and B, my mindset, I wasn't the right girl for that person. Kirsten has a very interesting question. Courtney.
Okay.
Do you ever coach Jay up about anything? If yes, how does he take it?
Ooh, yeah. Tough.
Jay will ask a question and is not open to very many suggestions because when you say it, you get defensive. And then like 3 days later, he'll come back and go, I had this great idea.
Not true. Untrue. Untrue.
I may have suggested that a day or two ago when you asked for help.
Untrue. She does. She coaches me up on a lot of stuff. Listen, I wouldn't have, I mean, she's definitely a great resource and I mean, keeps me grounded. You can't do all this stuff on your own. You can't always be like positive and blah, blah, blah. I mean, you need somebody in your life for like checks and balances. So she's definitely my checks and balances person for sure. But I am probably one of my biggest, I don't even say downfalls or whatever, is I am like super hard-headed, like really hard-headed. So I need to take information in, process it, and then come back with a verdict.
I'm very bossy, by the way, too. I will admit that.
She's not afraid to tell you what to do.
No, I'm not at all.
And as a hard-headed person, you don't always receive that like it should be received. So sometimes you have to receive, reject, pick it back up off the floor, ingest it, and then she's usually right. I'd say she's right probably 97.6% of the time.
Thanks.
No?
You've never said that before.
Yeah.
So, yes, I do coach him a little bit. Something you may not know about Jay is he's very sensitive.
Aww.
You are sensitive.
I am
and
sensitive.
That's good and bad.
Yeah, it is.
But these people, that are around you in the morning before your workouts may not understand or know that about you, that you actually are sensitive.
Yeah.
Jay's very sensitive. And I'm back east, girl. I don't know if any of you guys are from back east. Just kind of say it like it is.
You know, it's weird. I'm sensitive with people that I really care about. Like, I don't care what other people think about me. Like, people that I don't know, or like people that are like on the ancillary fringes. But I'm definitely sensitive. Probably just to you though. Probably.
Oh, lucky me.
I don't really give a shit what anybody else thinks about me. I think, I really respect your opinion so much that I think that's what it really probably boils down to, is like oversensitivity.
Good to know. Sylvia said 1,000%, but I don't know to what, because we were chatting.
Yeah.
I don't see any more questions. Do you have any more, Marissa?
We got about 15 minutes, guys. 20. I can't see the time. 15, 20 minutes?
Couple. Okay. I've always been curious about your Rod Stewart. I don't know if obsession's the right word, but
That's
a safe word.
What is it about Rod Stewart that, like, because you're the only person that I've ever met that's gone to, like, even with like anybody, that many concerts every time?
Oh my God, 8, 9 times I've gone to. And here's the worst part. I missed meeting Rod Stewart by minutes several times when I was a flight attendant. It was in the days before cell phones. This is how long my dad used to listen to him all the time. So I grew up listening to Rod Stewart. And he kind of reminds me a little bit of my dad, the way he's kind of cool, right? Like, so that could be part of it. I just like his music. But when I was a flight attendant, I would get phone calls from other flight attendants on the jet bridge, because it was in the days before cell phones, and they'd go, Rod and Rachel Hunter are on my flight. And I'd be working that same flight like the next day, or would have worked it the day before. So I can't tell you why. He's fun. I actually think he's a brilliant businessman. Anyone who's been in that industry and can still fill any venue they show up at, after all of this time, he starts on time. He knows how to engage. And as a public speaker, I actually like watching him engage with the audience. Although the last time we went, he told somebody to get the F out in the front row because she was on her phone.
Yeah, there's a lady in the front row, and she was like texting and scrolling. And he was literally, I mean, from me to Lori, and he was like making these gestures, like,
I didn't know what he was doing at
like
first.
doing all this like funny stuff. And he's like, why don't you just get the F out of here?
He's like, my wife is sitting up in the nosebleed seats, and she would love to have your seat. So if you're not having fun, leave and let her come sit down here.
And here's what I've learned, though. So he's English. English people can say shit like that and get away with it. I don't know why. I say something like that, it's a coup. Right? The whole audience would have got up and walked out. I'd be a dick. I can't believe he said that. And people were cheering him on. Like, if you're English, you can get away with anything.
It's true.
So I can't answer it. I just love him. I love his music. I find him to be, like I said, a brilliant business person. And Jay's been kind enough. I think he's gotten me front row to Rod Stewart maybe 4 or 5 times. So
if we're going, we're sitting up front.
at first, when I said I was going, he said, I don't even know who that is. And then when he went, he's like, oh, I do. And he knew a lot of his songs. Now he has fun.
He's fun. Here's what I love. I love going to things like that. I don't even have to know. I mean, now I know every song because I've been to like 87 concerts. But I love to watch people, like Lori said, interact with the crowd, how he performs on the stage, how he treats the people in his band and his dancers, how much fun he has. Like, he is he's a consummate entertainer. Like, he just entertains. Like, he's not even really that good of a singer, if you be honest. Like, vocally, I mean, he's not like,
Well, he's
had throat cancer and like he's very raspy and whatever. But like, if he was on American Idol today, he wouldn't even get a ticket. Kick him out. But he's an unbelievable entertainer, so he knows how to engage the crowd, and that's what I find value in is this, his ability to do all that.
Sylvia is asking favorite celebrity sighting on a plane. Oh gosh, I actually, when I flew first class, it was before people flew around on private jets like they do now. So Jennifer Aniston was fun. I had her on my flight several times, and Carolyn Bessette Kennedy was also super cool and gorgeous. For anyone who said, what does JFK Jr. see in her when you see her in person, and when you had the opportunity to talk to her and see how human she was, her personality, that was cool. Halle Berry was not very nice, to be honest with you. You weren't allowed to talk to her, even if you were asking her if she wanted something to drink. But my spa in LA had some cool, like, my claim to fame and one of the most exciting celebrity encounters was when Slash from Guns N' Roses used to come in for facials, and Jay's like, you do not know Slash. Remember when you met me? And
I'm sure I said that, but I don't remember.
Yeah, or maybe you were just more like excited. You go, you do not know Slash.
Yeah, it was probably more of like a what the F, you can't, yeah.
So I got him an autographed book from Slash.
For my birthday.
For his birthday, that said rock and fucking roll Jay from Slash. So that was kind of a cool.
You still have it?
Yeah. Yeah, I still have the book.
Do we still have it?
Yeah.
I thought I may have thrown it away when we left LA. Maybe it's still in there.
I think it's still in there.
Okay. But yeah, I'm trying to think. Do you guys remember who River Phoenix was? I talked to him for like an hour and a half one day. I had no idea who he was. And then, the other flight attendants were like, how do you know him? I'm like, I thought he was a homeless person on the airplane, but it was just probably a month before he passed away. He was really out of it. That was an interesting celeb. But I had them all on there at one time or another. Some of them are lovely and human, and some of them are just a big pain in the butt. Any more questions? Marissa, do you have any more?
What originally brought you out to California? Like, was it your flight or?
Well, yeah, when I was a flight attendant, I always wanted to live here. And I tell the story of, it was like January, I was 23 years old, and I was on call. I lived in Boston, freezing cold, and they said, pack your bags, you're going to Palm Springs tonight. So it was 4:00 in the afternoon, get to the airport, fly out here, and it was dark when I landed. So I went to bed, and I woke up in the morning, and I opened the hotel shades for the sliding door. I wish I could remember what hotel it was out here, but it was the view that we now have from our backyard, sorry, of the mountains covered in snow, and it was like 80 degrees. And I had traveled pretty much the world at that point in my life being a flight attendant, but I knew the second that I opened those curtains and stood outside that this is where I would someday be living and grow old. So that's kind of how it started. And then I just manifested my way across the country after that.
Funny story. So I was living, we met in Mexico, we met in Cabo, and then I think 3 months later I moved to LA. I was living in Texas at the time, but about a week before that, I think it was like July the 4th or whatever. July 4th, we went to a party. So I was coming to visit Lori, and she was going to go to a party at one of her celebrity clients' houses in the Hollywood Hills. And she called and said, hey, and this celebrity had like, Lori had talked about me. So she called me Texas. She didn't even call me by my name. And she said, for sure you can bring him. So we go there, and like, I think I might have told the story before, like Doogie Howser's there with his husband, which they both hit on me all night, which was very uncomfortable. And then who else was there? There was Neil, the guy from Chandler was there from Friends. Anyway, there were celebrities out the wazoo there. And I remember standing in the Hollywood Hills, like watching the fireworks, thinking like, I mean, what the hell am I doing in Texas? And I think I flew home, got my stuff, and came out and never went home.
Yeah.
Didn't even tell her I was coming.
I think I knew you were coming.
How'd you feel when he came, like, just?
She was excited. I mean, she was really excited. She was like, you know, oh, you're asking her? Okay. I'll let her answer that question.
I was happy he was coming out.
It's worked out great. I mean,
nobody else thought it would. I kept hearing, this is too soon. This is, what are you doing? But
I'm a handful, but I'm loyal. I'm honest. I'm a pretty good dude. You might have hit the jackpot.
That's it for questions from.
Anybody got any questions, guys? We've got 8 minutes left. 8 minute DJ Morale. Shut it up.
What does DJ Marissa mean?
So I could play a song. Okay, I could play a song at the studio, and everybody's like, oh, okay. I go out of town, Marissa could play the same playlist, and everybody's like, oh my God, the music today was so amazing. Like, it's like she's that Marshmallow guy, or the Dead Mouse guy who wears like she should be at EDM concerts. I'm like, what?
Are you playing electric funk for them?
Playing some bullshit we listen to all the time.
We do. The only thing I don't play is like our like
80s rock.
Yeah, like our like, sometimes I will. Sometimes I'll have like an 80s playlist that I go, but then yeah, it's mainly like either current day or EDM or like something like kind of poppy and.
It's ridiculous.
EDM, electric, what?
Dance music.
Dance music. I thought, isn't it like the Electric Daisy Festival or something?
Same thing.
Vegas. But.
Do you want to know what the first thing, can anyone guess? Do you want to give a prize away to somebody who can guess the right answer to a question I'm going to ask? Do you have anything to give away?
Tell her what you did when you came back. I don't even remember. I do so much shit, I don't even remember what you're talking about.
I don't know if I even want to bring it up because it might bring you ideas again since we brought it up. You didn't play music for like 3 days.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, I'm like, all right, you ungrateful sons of bitches, here's what we're going to do. Cut it. That goes back to that sense. You're right. I am sensitive.
I have to tell you, I agree with Sylvia. She said super sensitive, but comes around after a few days.
Yeah.
Glad you guys accept Jay for who he is.
Am I usually right, though? Be honest with me. If I say something, am I most of the time? You always say,
That's such a blanket statement that I can't answer that, because there are certain times that, yes, you're right, but when you're sensitive, it's usually because you're taking something the wrong way.
Could be.
Yeah.
Maybe it's delivery. I don't know.
Sylvia, I guess we have to work on our delivery. Me and you.
Everybody,
we have to work on our delivery.
Careful, I'll shut the music down again. Didn't hurt my feelings.
So she plays more Britney, which, do any of you guys follow Britney on Instagram?
I just saw her Instagram because everybody kept doing these memes of like just trying to figure out her Instagram. I was like, what is her? It's insane. It hurts.
Just 30 people, heavy breathing. Okay, giveaway. Maybe I'll give something away. I'm going to give away one of my happiness formulated, very clean lip glosses, since they're all women on here. If anyone can give me, gotta be fast, the correct answer to the question that I'm going to ask. What is the first thing that Jay and I are going to do when lockdown is lifted? Okay, let's see. See, I am bossy. I just told them what the first thing we're going to do is.
Because that wasn't what I was thinking. It looks like Alyssa will want a lip gloss.
Woohoo! Winner, winner. Mastro's dinner is right. You are the winner of one of my custom formulated Eco Chic Happiness Intention lip glosses. So.
Cindy, you're damn right. Hawaii will be booked very shortly after, and it will probably be booked while I'm in Vegas. Like that's going to be the trend there. So as soon as I get a call from the Vegas casino that they're back open, we'll be en route. I mean, I would leave right now during the middle of this live if I got a buzz about it. No, butter cake hurts my belly. Ugh.
Too funny. Yeah, Hawaii would be good, but they're on lockdown. A friend of mine lives there, and she said they've been doing these crazy segments of lockdowns with the National Guard on the road. Like you can't even get to where you want to go. So, and nothing is open there. I don't know how much fun Hawaii would be right now. But sounds like maybe you guys are going to be working out with Jay again soon. Last night, they talked about lifting the gym lockdown. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Maybe. Okay. So.
Hell no, Sylvia, you crazy bird. Not enough room at the bar, Sylvia. Maybe we'll sporadically tell people when we're going to be there.
Yeah. Well, Jay does want to have a party this summer, so.
Yeah, so I've been thinking, guys. I mean, I don't even think I'm going to wait. It is warm in here. Look, I have my new Thrive tank top on. Guys, these should be here any day now. I just checked, and they are in the process of being packed. So my guess is they may even ship today or tomorrow, Saturday. It's probably Monday. So maybe we'll have them by next week, which would be rockstar awesome. But I've decided that we usually do our Thrive Thankfulness Party in like October, November, December. I think I'm going to do it probably this summer just to give us an opportunity to all get together and do something entertaining. So there may be a little shift in scheduling this year. So pay attention for that.
That's nice, Alyssa. And since you're both business owners, how can we support you and your business during this time? Well, during this time, what do you like? Just continue to buy supplements from you and keep telling your friends about Jay's awesome workouts.
Yeah, I mean, I think the way you guys can support me is just really, I mean, spreading the word. I mean, you guys know I have a bigger vision and a bigger mission than, just helping 2 or 3 or 4 people. I think the more we can get the word out about how different we are and how differently we do things, I think that's really the differentiator for me. And I know not everybody is my ideal client. Some people, won't resonate with me shutting the music off for 3 days. But it just is what it is, right? And so that's just really the way you can support me. I mean, anytime you guys buy the supplements, that's beautiful. That helps me out. Just the things you're already doing, just continue to do them, spread the word, tell people. It's really all I can ask for.
You guys, Thrive gals have really supported me since I started my business out here. So I could not ask for anything more. Thank you for coming in and getting your facials and ordering your skincare products. I appreciate it.
All right. We got 3 minutes, babe. You want to finish? You got a funny story you want to finish with?
I don't know. I don't know. Not one that I can think of. Any more questions? Yes, spread the word, Celeste said.
All right, we'll do one more question, then I'm going to tell a funny story before we go.
Why don't you tell a funny story?
I'll tell a funny story since there's no questions.
Yeah.
Good idea. All right, so Mercy, do you have any more questions? We'll let you go.
Yeah, actually, because I've always been curious. What is the #1 advice you would tell your 25-year-old self?
Me or Jay?
You.
Oh my God, that's a one I'd have to think about. 25, I was a flight attendant, living in Boston, having a blast. I guess maybe not to worry so much about the little things, because life's always going to throw you crazy curveballs like the one we're in right now, but they always pass. They always work out. And on the other side of them, the comeback's always better than the setback. That's probably what I tell my 25-year-old self. Like, you get to ride the roller coaster and know the comeback will always be better than the setback.
Yeah, what comes to my mind, even though you didn't ask, is I would say, I would tell that Joker a lot of things. I mean, a bunch of them would be like, chill the F out, a bunch of stuff like that. But I would tell him, I would make sure he understood the importance of who he was hanging around, like who he was getting information from, who he was like, who he was allowing to speak into his brain, like the information that he was ingesting. I would really drive home the point of how important that is for the things that he wanted to get in his life. That, that who you surround yourself with, the information you ingest, how you speak, how you talk, how you act, the whole 9 yards, everything that I talk about now. I wish I would have known that at age 25. It would have been a massive game changer for me. All right, let's on my quick story. Somebody's got questions. So we go back. So most of you guys know Lori and I are eternally engaged, not officially married. I think it's only recognized if we're recognized as being married in Guam, and there's an Indian reservation in, I think it's Minnesota or somewhere like that. Only 2 places that we're actually legally married. Other than that, we're just engaged. So we go back to Cabo. I don't even know how long ago, maybe a year later or 2 years later. And I've got a ring. I'm gonna ask her to marry me. Blah blah blah. I think we went to the same resort, same everything. So before we go, I do massive research and I plan it out. I'm like, where's the best restaurant in Cabo we can go to? And I think I've got my game plan down, right? So this night, and there were some other people, like her sister was there with her husband at the time, and some other people. And so I'm like, hey guys, we're gonna go do our own thing tonight. Blah blah blah. So we go to this restaurant where I'm planning to propose to Lori. I've obviously never proposed to anything or anybody in my life, so I'm a rookie at this. And there's a fucking clown there making balloon animals. It was a really nice restaurant, but for some reason there's this Spanish clown making balloon animals at every table. And every time I would turn around, the sumbitch would be like at our table. Like,
not only that, it was tiered seating, which I've never seen before. So there was like another couple sitting right on top of us.
Yeah, like we were here and there was like another couple like basically like,
looking down on us.
And then there was one below us, and it was like, it was almost like you were just in this maze of people in this clown. And I'm like, I can't do this with this clown here. Like, what is going on? So then I'm like, okay, all right, what are you gonna do? So I'm like, all right, well, let's just walk back home. We ended up in this like random park in the middle of Cabo with like, I remember there being like this giant dinosaur or something like that in the middle. I don't know what it was. Maybe, I don't even know. We went to a convenience store. I mean, this was an absolute shit show. So we walk all the way back to the hotel, and I think we got into the room, and I'm like, I'm exhausted because I've been trying to plan this out the whole time. I mean, nothing's working.
And I knew the whole time
what
he was doing, and I just kept thinking to
shot.
myself, you're ruining our whole night because you just can't get to the point. You can't say anything.
Oh, God. This is where being OCD does not benefit you.
Yeah.
Because you're looking for that perfect window, and then you can't fight a clown on the night you get engaged because then they'll always remember that. So it's like it was a shit show. So
did you end up asking or?
Yeah, of course.
Oh.
Yeah. I think it was actually in the room back at the resort. There was 2 little, the maids make the towels into like little swans. There was 2 little swans like or something like that.
Tana said Mikasa. Is that the name of the restaurant?
It could have been Mikasa. Maybe very much. That rings a bell. Mikasa, not Sukasa. I'll tell you that. If you want to be proposed
Mikasa
to somebody.
is the clown casa.
Yeah. Don't go there if you want to be romantic. Ridiculous. All right, guys. If nobody's got anything, we're gonna bolt. Let you enjoy your Friday.
I'm yawning because Jay gets up so early every morning. It's disrupting my beauty sleep.
We'll have a question to that story really quick if we have time.
We'll add on. What do you got?
So did you guys ever think, like, actually consider, like, having the wedding? Or was it just, like, I mean, no.
I think we just time got away from us, really. And honestly, we don't have kids. So, and to me, I'm such a, I guess, logical thinker that I don't, at this point in my life, need to put on a white dress and do a bunch of paperwork and walk down an aisle. And it just feels, not to disrespect anyone's choice to do that, but for me, it feels like,
yeah, I mean, neither one
not
of us.
who I am.
Yeah, neither one of us are really just wedding people. I mean.
And then we asked our CPA, should we get married business-wise, tax-wise? And he's like, that would be a hell no.
Yeah.
Do not get married. So.
And you guys, I've said this before, like we kind of run our lives as a business. I mean, it has to make sense, right? For us, we don't have kids, blah, blah, blah. We have all the necessary paperwork and whatever, power of attorneys and all that stuff. So, I mean, quintessentially, we have everything in place, but I don't think either one of us are just really the marrying type. I mean, I can't imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, having groomsmen and stuff like that. It's just very.
Marissa, you'd be the groomsman.
Yeah. They're like, who's the Asian guy? And I mean, that's Marissa. She's just
Marissa in a tuxedo.
She's in a tuxedo. That's Marissa. Yeah. They'd be like, I didn't know Jay had a little Asian friend. Like, he from college? Like, that's Marissa. She's in a tux. Cummerbund.
Did you guys watch Schitt's Creek? Because that's he had Stevie stand up for him.
No,
Anyone watch Schitt's Creek?
I don't even know what the hell you're talking about.
The last one. Oh, you don't watch it with me. I watch it in the middle of the night when I can't sleep.
No.
But if you watch it, you'll know what we're talking about. It was funny.
She's not DJing the wedding, Courtney. Courtney. It's enough.
I will not have Brittany at my wedding.
That
I'm sorry.
Enough. Whose side are you on, Courtney? I thought you were on Team Jay. We talked about this before. You're like, if a fight ever goes down, you said, Jay, I got your back. I don't even like Marissa. That's exactly what you said. I didn't want to bring that up. You forced my hand.
And I actually call her by her real name.
Evidently, she doesn't respect that.
A little.
She doesn't respect that. She said those words to me. She said, she's a little mousy for me. Her exact words, not mine.
Oh.
For what it is. Yeah, I know. Trust me, it hurt my feelings a little bit. Then I'm like, well, at least she's got my back. So
we're losing people, babe. Maybe we're boring.
All right, let's go. Get the hell out of here. We'll leave. All right, kids, thanks for joining us. Have a beautiful rest of your Friday. Enjoy your night. Thanks for joining us, and we will talk to you soon.
Bye, everybody.
See ya.